Trae Young or Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers? We've got the latest on Dejounte Murray. Will the Lakers find a way to get a deal done? And could they bring back Dennis Schroder? All that more coming up next here on the All Lakers podcast. Hey, what up, Laker fans? Doug McKain here. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Join the party and subscribe to the All Lakers YouTube channel for all latest Lakers news and rumors all year long. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit that like button. And as always, I'm looking for your takes down below in the comment section. What do you think the Lakers should do at the deadline? Do you want to see them pursue a trade for Dejounte Murray, or should they hold off and look to acquire a Donovan Mitchell or a Trae Young in the offseason? Do you want to see Dennis Schroder back for the Lakers? Let me know down below. And for all latest Lakers news, head over to alllakers.com. Trae Young or Donovan Mitchell in purple and gold? Well, ESPN NBA insider Dave McMenamin, he wrote in his recent piece that could be a possibility. McMenamin writes, the Lakers have discussed internally the possibility of packaging 3 picks along with players they already have on their books to pursue a bona fide star such as Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers or Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, team sources told ESPN. So the big question for the Lakers right now is, do they stand pat? Do you keep DAngelo Russell and try to see what you can do with the current group, the current nucleus, and see if Jared Vanderbilt, as he continues to get healthy and expands his role, and you get a reduced role for Taurean Prince. Eventually, you do get a Gabe Vincent back and hope that he improves the defense. He gives you another shooter from beyond the arc. You're having a phenomenal season from Anthony Davis, who has played like an MVP for stretches this season. LeBron James is really showing no signs of falling off a cliff anytime soon. There is not a washed king in purple and gold right now. There's a guy that still is a top 10 player in the NBA. Is that enough to win a championship? Can you beat teams like the Nuggets in the playoffs with a group similar to what we saw last season? I'm not so sure you can. But the Lakers, they have to decide if there's enough talent out there. There's names out there that they could acquire at this deadline that could move the needle, that would put them over the top, that could be the last missing piece to a championship puzzle. Is Dejounte Murray that guy, or do you keep your assets? Do you keep that 2029 first-round pick? Do you keep some of the players that you have on tradable contracts and try to move them in the offseason for a star in the next tier? Guys like Donovan Mitchell, guys like Trae Young. That's a big question because I think, one, you have to have a long discussion about their availability because a lot can change from now until the offseason. A lot can change for players' value, for players on other teams, how they value their own assets. Do you really want to wait thinking maybe we could get this star, or do you want to act now? Do you want to take advantage of a team that last season made a run to the Western Conference Finals, a team that still has a lot of pieces and tradable contracts right now where you can improve this roster? I think the answer should be unequivocally yes, a capital YES with an exclamation point, because you have the assets to get a deal done to improve the roster this season, to take advantage of another fantastic year from Anthony Davis, where he's playing at an all-NBA level. He's healthy. He's still in his prime. You still have LeBron James, who's playing at an extremely high level. There's no guarantees they play like this next year. There's no guarantees Anthony Davis is healthy next year, or that LeBron James is still playing like a peak NBA player who's still playing at a top 10 level. Okay, now if you want to think way into the future and think about pairing Trae Young with Anthony Davis and start thinking about Lakers life post LeBron, then I understand it. But with LeBron James, it's about trying to extend your championship window. How do you keep that window pried open to try to win another NBA championship? And we heard a few days ago from Jovan Bua of The Athletic that for the framework of a deal that the Lakers could get Dejounte Murray from the Atlanta Hawks, the framework of the deal was Lakers get Dejounte Murray, Lakers give up DAngelo Russell, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and their 2029 first-round pick. So you wouldn't have to include Austin Reeves. You wouldn't have to include Rui Hachimura, and you can get a Dejounte Murray, who, in my opinion, is a big upgrade to DAngelo Russell. We'll get more into that in just a second, But really, if you just remove the emotional element of it, I love D'Angelo Russell. I love the fact that he's playing so well right now, and he is on a heater. He's averaging over 27 points in his last 5 games, and he's out there soaking it all in on the Lakers bench and crying and shedding some tears or whatever that was the other night, because was he coming to the realization that this was going to be one of his last games in purple and gold? If you remove all that emotional stuff and you look at it from the standpoint that, one, D'Angelo Russell's contract, where last offseason when they did that deal, he waived his implied no-trade clause. And it's believed that he's the first player in the new CBA to do that. Well, you're talking about the $17.3 million on his contract this year. Then you look at next year, he has an $18.6 million player option. And if he opts into that, he's going to have some serious tax implications for this team, where you're just under that second apron there, right? They signed D'Angelo Russell to trade him. Had he performed at a level that exceeded their expectations early on in the season, and maybe they're 10, 15 games above 500, they're top 4 seed in the Western Conference, maybe they have serious discussions about offering him a legitimate extension where he's here for multiple seasons beyond next year. But that wasn't the case. Is this a situation where it's too little too late for D'Angelo Russell and how he's performed for this team? Maybe that's where they're at. But the reality of the situation for this team is, even if they're playing to their capabilities, even if they're realizing their potential, that they still might fall short against teams like the Denver Nuggets or the Boston Celtics. And if you're a Los Angeles Lakers team that is championship or bust because of your history, because of your current roster construction, where you have a LeBron James who is at age 39 at this point, and he's got more yesterdays than tomorrows, no matter how you slice it, I still think you do what you have to do to increase this team's championship odds this season. And you do that by trading for Dejounte Murray. And I know some D'Angelo Russell fans don't want to hear this, but he definitely increases their championship odds. I'm not saying he's a massive needle mover like a Donovan Mitchell might be or another elite player is, but Dejounte Murray would do a lot of things that this team desperately needs. So let's kind of take a look at the differences between these two players. Now, when you look at their numbers, Dejounte Murray, he has a little bit of an edge when it comes to the scoring, 21.4 points per game compared to D'Lo's 16.3, 5 rebounds and 5 assists for Murray compared to 2.7 rebounds and 6.7 assists for D'Angelo Russell. If you look at their numbers, yeah, the scoring is much better with Murray. And just look at how Murray looked without Trae Young in the lineup. With Trae Young in the concussion protocol, he absolutely went off. I mean, you're talking about someone who had a 35, 10, and 6 game on 23 shots. So with him, less off the ball in his hands, he was absolutely dynamite with the rock. And I think Dejounte Murray is someone who immediately steps in. He's someone that can create his own basket. He's someone that can break the defense down with the ball in his hands. That is what this team needs. This team needs a player that can help them get into favorable matchups, favorable shots. And yes, if you want to look at the pros of D'Angelo Russell, what does D'Angelo Russell do better than Dejounte Murray? You could say that D'Angelo Russell is someone that is a great facilitator. He's someone that has built great chemistry with Anthony Davis, and you have to give him credit for that. He's a better passer. He's built good chemistry with AD. You see the pocket passes. I think he's an underrated pick and roll player. He's able to generate offense. There's no doubt about that. But at best for Dejounte Murray is you're getting an upgrade at the point guard position, where not only is he a better, more consistent scorer on the offensive end, but he's someone who's an asset defensively and won't be rendered unplayable like D'Lo was against the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals last year. So that's at best. You're getting an upgrade at the point guard position. That's a better scorer. That is a better defender. That's someone that can't be played off the court. Not only is he a better defender, he's someone that's going to match up with the other team's best guards. So defensively, there's no comparison. It's like comparing taking a Spirit Airlines flight versus flying in a private jet. There is no comparison to D'Angelo Russell and Dejounte Murray defensively even if Dejounte Murray has regressed a little bit on that end, even though he's not getting those Defensive Player of the Year award votes, that all-NBA status on defense. He can get back to that guy. I still think it's in there. And I think the further removed he gets from that ACL injury, you'll see him improve in that area. Now, I've also seen people out there saying, well, offensively, DAngelo Russell has the advantage offensively. Right now, it might seem that way because he's on a heater and he can't miss and he's hitting from three. But have you not seen DAngelo Russell's whole career? Are you just tuning in recently? Because this is someone who has had cold streaks. This is someone who has had good games only to have a streak of cold games where he can't hit shots or he can't generate offense. Now, he's a better passer. I'll give you that. Sure, he's a better passer. That is what DAngelo Russell has over Dejounte Murray. But let's not sit here and act like Dejounte Murray can't pass the rock. Just go look at his highlights. He can hit lobs. He can make pocket passes. He can play in the pick and roll. Not as well as DAngelo Russell can, but he is still an adequate passer in this league, and you surround him with talent. I have no doubt that he can make plays as a point guard, but it's what he can do with the ball offensively in isolations that really make me want to scream from the mountaintop, go get Dejounte Murray. Just go look at the highlights from a few nights ago. What he can do with the ball in the pick and roll, the actions, knowing when to attack, knowing when to attack the rim and get his own. That is something that this team needs on nights when LeBron James doesn't have it, on nights when Austin Reeves doesn't have it. He can will his offense more than DAngelo Russell can, and that's why I think he's a better fit for this team, and that's why I think he raises this team's ceiling. Now, if you look at a weakness that he could have and something that he would need to improve upon, that is his catch and shooting, right? I mean, we know that about Dejounte Murray. He is not a great catch and shooter. He has made 38.3% of his catch and shoot opportunities this season. You compare that to DAngelo Russell, he's made 46.4%. So DAngelo Russell is better at converting his catch and shooting opportunities. There's no doubt about that, but look at Dennis Schroder. Look at the shot that Schroder made against the Timberwolves in the play-in game, right? He improved that aspect of his game. I think Dejounte Murray is young enough to at least shoot a respectable clip from catch and shoot if he works at it. And I think that there's also times with this team, the Lakers, that you say, okay, LeBron James, he needs the ball in his hands. Austin Reeves, he needs the ball in his hands. Dejounte Murray, he's going to be rendered useless because he's not going to be making catch and shoots. No, look, this is a situation where if you trade for Dejounte Murray, he's on another tier than Austin Reeves. He gets more opportunities. LeBron James, you see them mix it up on different possessions. There's still enough food on the table for everyone to get fed, even if you have Austin Reeves, Dejounte Murray, and LeBron James. Now, I think that the idea of having him as a traditional point guard for the Lakers, that makes a lot of sense, and it kind of just depends on how you want to utilize him, and you know they're not going to make that trade unless they view him in that light. But for me, it comes down to this. He's a better player offensively at scoring the basketball, and he's a superior defender. Just go watch his defensive highlights. He still is averaging 1.3 steals per game. He's someone that can navigate screens. He's quicker. He's stronger. He's not going to get bumped off his man. He's a great help defender. And we know that if you want to win a championship in the NBA, you've got to get yourself top 10 defensively. DAngelo Russell doesn't help the Lakers get there. He only prevents them from getting there, whereas Murray, not only does he provide defense, but he still scores more points than DAngelo Russell. And you have facilitators. LeBron's a great passer. Reeves is a great passer. Murray can still pass at an above average level. So I think it makes all the sense in the world to still pursue a trade for Dejounte Murray. I still think that you should not punt on this season if you're the Lakers, because next season you could trade for Donovan Mitchell. Anthony Davis gets hurt on the second game of the season. You trade for Trae Young, LeBron James gets hurt, right? I still think this team isn't as far away from being legitimate contenders as some might be led to believe because of the 500-ish basketball they've been playing this season. There's still a lot of talent on this team, and I think that if you really could get a deal done without having to include Reeves and Rui Hachimura, and you give away JHS in the first-round pick, I still think you have to do it. Now, Trae Young would be nice in the offseason. Of course, he's a clutch client. There is that connection. Donovan Mitchell, too. Sure, that's fine. But I still think that you should push your chips in the middle of the table and try to win now. This team got to the Western Conference Finals last season, right? and you have a chance to upgrade this roster and try to get back and try to, this time, advance to the finals. So I absolutely think they should go and try to trade for Dejounte Murray. I don't think that DAngelo Russell is going to be able to sustain this. I think DAngelo Russell, give him all the credit in the world. He's gone out there and he's performed well, but there's a lot of recency bias. There's a lot of Laker fans that, did someone put the Men in Black little thing in front of you and just zap you? And remember all those cold games that he had, all those games where he wasn't great out there? Yeah, he's had 5 good games, and he's had more than that this season. But I think that he increased that trade value. If he was so great, then the Atlanta Hawks would have traded for him. Why you got to find a third team, right? And, of course, he's not a part of their future, but still, look, go out there, get Dejounte Murray. Let's get another championship. Now, one more quick thing before we get out of here. We're going to talk about Dennis Schroder. Now, there's a rumor going around that the Lakers are interested in bringing back Dennis Schroder. And Dennis Schroder, of course, he's with the Raptors now. He's averaging 13.9 points per game, 2.6 boards, 6.3 assists. And just to rewind, he, of course, famously turned down a 4-year, $84 million deal from the Lakers. And the domino effects of that is crazy. Do you guys know the domino effects of the Dennis Schroder contract? The fact that he didn't take that deal. And what would happen? Well, had he had signed that contract, Lakers probably wouldn't have traded for Russell Westbrook. They probably would still have KCP and Kyle Kuzma. They would have had enough cap space to re-sign Alex Caruso without a humongous, crippling luxury tax hit. You would have kept the draft pick that they could have used to select Cam Thomas. And Dennis or D'Lo, whatever it may be, can you imagine that? I mean, there's a lot of dominoes there, a lot of butterfly effect stuff that I find very, very interesting. As far as Dennis Schroder, he's someone that we know is gritty. He can help this team. I wouldn't mind seeing him back on the Lakers, but him alone, him and Bruce Brown, I'm telling you, they go out and trade for Bruce Brown and get Dennis Schroder, you're not going to win the NBA championship. You can screen record this. You can save this YouTube video. They won't win the championship with that roster. You need to go out there and be more aggressive and try to swing big because, look, there's a lot of competition out there. And like I said, if there's someone out there that can convince me how you could keep DAngelo Russell on the court against an elite offensive team like the Nuggets, then maybe I would change my opinion. But he was in his warm-ups. Might as well have been wearing street clothes. He had people photoshopping cones with his head on it, right? And it's unfortunate. I wish he was a better defender, but Dejounte Murray, he brings that in spades, and I think that he's a much better fit and absolutely think that he moves the needle for this team. Yeah, he doesn't move the needle for a long-term superstar, but he's still on a favorable contract, too. A favorable contract, you're talking about a deal that doesn't kick in until next season, around $30 million a year. If it doesn't work out, you can flip him down the line and try to get an asset. So the contract for D'Lo was signed to trade him. The reason why he was probably a little misty-eyed, maybe it was because he realizes that the writing's on the wall. They could stick with this group. I would love to be wrong in this sense, but personally, I just don't think that this team, as constructed, is going to go out there and win a championship. But that's going to do it for this episode of the All Lakers podcast. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel for all the latest Lakers news and rumors. And this channel, we're not bringing the fluff. We're not bringing the just straight up news. I mean, we're giving you takes and opinions how we truly feel about the Los Angeles Lakers. But that's going to do it. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Laker basketball. And until next time, go Lakers.